Wow, it's been a really long time since I've filmed a video. I think not since last year, and I have 3 or 4 videos from last year that I still have to edit and post that I should probably get to doing. And if you notice, I'm not in my usual spot because my bookshelves that I usually film in front of are a mess. Procrastination is the best thing is the best thing I do, really. Okay. Hey everyone, it's Aradna. If you've watched any of my videos or if you follow me on Twitter, you would know that I'm very, very fond of Sandhya Menon's books. Sandhya Menon's writing has a very close place to my heart because growing up I did not really feel represented, and now, as close as I am to 30, reading her books makes me feel like that teenager that really wanted to be seen in the stories she read. So on the 21st, the final installment of Sandhya's Dimple-verse came out, 10 Things I Hate About Pinky. I was lucky enough to get an e-arc, so if you want to read my full review, the link will be in the description. And I thought, as a celebration of the fact that the Dimple-verse is coming to a close with this final novel, I would talk about 10 things I love about the Dimple-verse. Now, these are in no particular order, and they can be a bit silly, I will admit, but these books are lovely and I would highly recommend them to everybody. And so 10 things I love about the books are the friendships in the books. Now, in all 3 of the books, there's some measure of female friendships that's really nice to see. Also, the friendship the male characters have are very much well written and fleshed out, and I really like the nuances of the friendships, and I find Sandhya's writing to be very realistic in depicting teenage friendships. Number 2 is a lot of mention of Bollywood. It's very, very fun to see whether it's the song lyrics or the movies or the actors' names just casually sprinkled into the novel, as it's a lot of fun. Okay, as someone who enjoys Bollywood, I have my issues with it because there are things that Bollywood does need to do better, but I love the music and I love seeing mentions of songs in books, so I really enjoy that. Number 3 is the food. It's not a very huge focus in the novels, I think, but just the mention of food as a way for the family to spend time together or the friends to spend time together, it is very realistic, especially in regards to, I find, Indian families or Asian families. Food is a very big part of our lives, and I really like that. Plus, a lot of the sweets and the mithai mentioned is just it made me hungry while reading it, and it's just nice to see in the book, just casually, like no explanation necessary, this is part of our life, end of. Number 4 is the romance, obviously. Each novel has very sweetly tackled the different romances. They are not dragged out too long, there's not too many misunderstandings and whatnot, and they're very sweet and complete, and it's just really nicely done, and they're very different from one another, which is very nice because it could get formulaic. I have seen that happen in YA novels, but Sandhya keeps the wit and the snark and the charm of each book, but they are very distinctly different to one another, so that's really wonderful. think I'm on number 5. Number 5, I don't remember my list. Number 5, it's not a huge part of the novels, but the Antisystem. If you are Indian, you know what I mean. There is this presence you see in especially the girls' point of views of the books of the auntie community in the Indian society. You get this sense of the adults constantly thinking of log kya kahenge whenever the girls or anybody wants to do something that is unexpected or not traditional. Maybe it's I don't know how to explain it. If you are Indian, you probably understand what I mean about the aunties, but or even Asian. I guess Asian communities are like that, but it's a very specific log kya kahenge, what will people think kind of situation that is not huge in the books, but it is present, and it made me laugh each time I saw it because it's just so realistic. It's something that I could see happening to me when I was a teenager. It's something I could see happening to my sisters, to my friends. It's very entertaining. Number 6, the strong female characters. They are very different from one another, but they are very, 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 I want to say strong again, but yeah, that's what they are. Dimple is very academically inclined, Sweetie is very athletically inclined and creatively inclined, and Pinky is very much a passionate person. And they are very distinct characters, but they are very real and they are very strong in the way they stand for themselves and for other people, and I really, really like them. In the same vein, I am not putting this as another number, I'm putting this as a 0.5 for, am I on 6 or am I on 7? I don't remember. You know what? Let's just keep going. The male love interests are also very distinct from one another, and are there also none of the toxic masculinity that you sometimes see in romance novels is really present. They are very much, all 3 of them are very much in awe of the girls in their lives, and I love that. I love that about these characters. I think I'm on number 8. Am I missing a number? I might have skipped a number. I don't know. Okay, but let's just go with 8. I love the mother-daughter relationships in each of these novels. It was something I realized when I was reading Pinky, that each of these novels does have a mother-daughter clash of views and their viewpoints because of the different generations and the different ways of being brought up. But at the end of the day, you do get to know that these characters, these mothers, these families, they love each other a lot, and they would do anything for one another. They just want the other person to be happy. And as someone who is personally very close to her mother, this was really nice to see, because I do get that generation gap in mind view. I get that even with my sister because we are very far apart in age, but it's nice to see. Number 9, I mentioned before I started this list that I didn't see a lot of representation of myself growing up. One of the first Indian stories I read, rom-com type story, was Anuja Chauhan's The Zoya Factor, which was really fun, but that was set in Delhi, and the first time I felt represented for the Indian diaspora community was when I read When Dimple Met Rishi, and that was like 5-6 years apart, maybe slightly less. And see, it's very different. Like, I did feel seen with the Zoya factor because it's very Indian community and whatnot, but the way I felt represented with when Dimple met Rishi, with the Dimple-verse as a whole, is different, because the growing up Indian outside of India is very much different from growing up in India. The first time I went to India, I was 13. So it just, you have a different viewpoint. Your parents might have been raised in India, mine weren't, my grandparents were, but the first generation immigrant, second generation immigrant, there is a difference in your viewpoint, in the way you embrace your culture. Like, yes, I love my culture and everything, but I've also assimilated enough with where I've grown up to adapt. And sometimes that grates the wrong way with the older generation, and it's not a huge part of the Dimple-verse, but it is present, you feel it, and you feel the characters learn how to find peace with themselves, with the two halves of themselves, because sometimes you're too Indian for where you are, but not Indian enough when you're in India. And I really liked that it didn't go too deep into that in the novels, because it's still, at the end of the day, a rom-com contemporary, but it gave you a sense that throughout the novel the characters do find that peace. Slowly, somehow, they find that way to settle the two parts of themselves and be happy with who they are, and I really like that. So one more, I can't remember what the last thing that I do love about this series is I'm using one of the books as a stand for my camera today, so I'll just pick up one of them, The Brown Girls, on the covers. It's just something that I never thought I would see in my lifetime, which is really sad to think about it. But you have these beautiful brown ladies on these books, and now we have the news that When Dimple Met Rishi is being made into a TV show coming out in November this year, if I am not wrong, called Mismatched, and I am so excited. It's just, being seen is important, and I'm so glad that there's so many people who will grow up with these books, with more books, with this knowledge that they matter and they're allowed to see themselves in the media they consume, that it's right to see themselves in the media that they consume, and that they're allowed to be vocal about it, to be disappointed if it doesn't happen. So but yeah, so these are, if I counted right, 10 things I love about the Dimple-verse. If you have anything you love about the Dimple-verse that I have not covered, leave them in the comments. Feel free to contact me on Twitter or Instagram, or in the comments if you have any thoughts on the Dimple-verse or on 10 things I hate about Pinky. I love talking about Sandhya Menon's books, and if you have any other recommendations for anything else to read or anything you want to watch, I want to try and get back into making videos, at least for the rest of the year. Next year is going to be a little difficult to be doing this, so let's hope I don't go another 5-6 months without videos. Tell me whether you missed me or whatever. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you soon. Bye.